Everybody needs to know that your friends at work are not your friends. That's true. It is a fact. When you work with somebody, you have to have that close relationship with them because you're working with them. They might invite you over for a barbecue or come visit the family or what and this and that, but as soon as you quit, they're not a friend anymore. Your true friends are people that you've known outside of work. And when I say this, I mean close friends. I mean, you could have met them at wherever you met them, the zoo, amusement park, the bar, wherever you met them at. But mind you, the people at the bar, they might be drinkers too. And if you're not a drinker, well, maybe that's something that you don't want to mess with. But your friends at work are not your friends. You can try to call them once you leave your job, but most generally, they're not going to call you back. Now, why is this? I don't know. I mean, you really feel this innermost connection with your friends at work, but they're not connected once you quit working. They're cool when you're there, but they're not so cool when you leave. Myself, I'm retired. I retired early. I retired maybe at, I don't even remember the exact year. It's 2026. I retired in 2021. So I retired early, kind of like the firefighters do, or maybe some of you know they had 20-year retirements. My uncle retired earlier than I did. So I was probably in my late 40s. And I thought retirement was going to be fun. Oh, this is going to be great. In the first year, it was. I thought, hey, I'll go fishing. I'll go hunting. I'll hang out. I'll do some projects, things that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do all the years that I worked. 37, I think. But when it finally happened, it didn't work out that way. I still haven't been fishing. I goof around with projects, but everything you do costs money. Well, now all of a sudden you don't have an income coming in. So you don't have an income coming in, everything comes off your bottom line, and you lose. You just can't gain ground. So a lot of retirement, and maybe I'm just me, but some people it could be different. Maybe set themselves up better. But, you know, I'm on limited income and I got so much a month. Unless I go work for cash or something like that, if I want to draw some extra, which, you know, I'm comfortable with what I got. I don't have any bills. But it's just, I didn't think that it would be like it is. And the fact is, I like to do stuff, but everything you do costs money. And when it costs money, it clips your bottom line. And you know, you got to watch it because you can overspend. You know, when you're working, you can go somewhere, vacation or whatever it might be. But the difference is you have a paycheck, a steady paycheck, plus you got your savings or whatever you might have worked for. But when you retire, you don't have that income anymore. You got maybe a limited income, SSI or whatever it might be. You might have your retirement, your 401k or whatever you're living on, which could help, which I don't have. There's a story behind that I'll talk about later. But so for myself, things just weren't like I thought they was going to be. Now, I'm not saying you can't do stuff you want to do. You just have to limit it and take it in moderation. You need hobbies when you're retired. Especially if you're single like myself. You have to have hobbies or something to do. As a man, us men need to keep our man mind occupied. We got to keep this old noggin working, and if we're not accomplishing something every day, well, we go freaking crazy. And accomplishing something costs money. Is money the root of all evil? I don't know. I'd like to think not, but maybe it is. All my dreams and things like that is not shattered. I mean, I could still go do stuff. I could leave right now, go down to the lake and fish or something like that if I wanted to. If I wanted to go hunting, I could do that. Visit the family, I can do that. I can do any of that stuff. But myself, I worry about gas prices and how much is it going to cost me. My truck gets 11.5 miles a gallon. So, if I drive this far, blah, blah, blah. I live in the country, so I have to make every trip count. And these kinds of things you take into equation. But honestly, retirement's not bad. And, if you got relationships with your children and things like that, that's awesome because they can kind of occupy some of your time. Idle mind is not good. We don't want to keep an idle mind. We want to be able to go and do things and keep your mind occupied. So every day when I wake up, I make a little list. Actually, I do it the day before. I said, I'm going to accomplish this today in retirement. I'm going to accomplish this. It's not going on vacation or going on cruises or what, that kind of stuff, but it's little things. If I can accomplish anything, it really helps me mentally because mentally is important. But it's a fact. Everybody in retirement is not going to be the same as me. I'm just telling you kind of like my story and what I think about it. You find things to do, you expedite them, you check it off your list, and you make a new list for the next day. You develop your routine, you get up, you make your coffee, or 6 coffee pot the night before, you make your bed in the morning, get dressed, and you make your little routine, and you stick with that routine, and kind of like you would in the military. It's no different, really. You just need a routine and something to do. And I'm sure women's the same way. I can't speak because I'm not a woman, but that kind of stuff is important, and we got to keep our mind busy. Now, how do we keep our mind busy? Well, that's going to be up to you. You can keep it busy however you feel like you can keep it busy. You might have like I was talking earlier, like hobbies or something like that. It doesn't matter if it's a freaking remote control car. But have a hobby, woodworking, whatever you choose, mechanicking on your vehicles, if you got one that you like to work on or wrench on. Women, I can't help you. I wish I could, but I can't. But just keep your mind occupied, keep busy. Life is not easy, and it wasn't meant to be easy. It's meant to be a challenge. But, we always have to remember that God will never put more on you than you can take. And in retirement, like I said, I thought it was going to be, it's going to be like paradise, That's what you're led to believe the whole time whenever you're working. You work your whole life. I'm going to go in this retirement. It's going to be all Disneyland or something. But sometimes it's not Disneyland. And you actually face reality when you're retired. Do I wish I wouldn't have retired? Actually, I liked to work. I enjoyed working. I enjoyed the camaraderie and just seeing things and doing things and staying. It kept me so busy. But I was forced into retirement myself, and here I am. I'm a provider. I always felt like I was a provider, and I didn't just feel like it. I knew I was a provider, and I always tried to provide for my family. I always tried to do what's right, work as hard as I can, and, that's all you can do in life. I mean, we're all going to go out the same way. We're going to exit with our eyes closed. But the time we have, we should cherish it. Cherish the time you have because it's important. And do what you can do. Help other people. It's whatever you like to do. But if you like to work, try to keep working as long as you can. If they force you out of work into retirement like they did myself, that's a whole different story. But I used to drive semi-trucks. I got almost 2 million miles and maybe more. No tickets or accidents. I mean, semi-trucks loaded all over the place. A lot of it was regional. I hauled flooring, compressed gas, you name it, paper products. But I retired as a hazmat driver, forced into it. And it kind of bothered me because the letter I got was not cool. I didn't like it, and they can't accommodate me anymore, and I'm not employed, basically, in a nutshell. And it bothered me, and I felt like I was fired, pretty much. But it goes back, and I have to look at the broadside of things, and corporate was trying to make some cuts, and they had to get rid of X amount of people between Oklahoma City and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they started at the higher paid people like me. And any excuse they could find to retire you, they did, or they just got rid of you. And I wasn't the first one, but it bothers me. I've always tried to apply myself and tried to be the best worker possible. I tried to work double hard, two people's jobs. I mean, the harder I worked, the better I felt. And then all of a sudden you come to this grind and halt, like I am now today. And I'm still adapting to it. I really am. I'm still trying to adapt to it. And I don't know if I ever will. But it is part of life, and not all of us will go through it, but a lot of us will, and we all have different experiences and things like that in life. And I hope everybody has a great retirement. I mean, I hope it is all daisies and, this Disney life that people expect it to be. And kind of like, marriage, You women expect marriage to be like that, but that's a whole nother topic. Just remember, don't let your life become too stagnant. We have a limited time, every one of us, myself, you, everybody has a limited time. And we never know how long that's going to be. It could be tonight, it could be tomorrow, it could be years and years and years from now. But utilize the time that God has given you on this earth to a good way. Be good and help people and keep busy and be productive. That's all you need to do. That's life. We have one life and we need to use it wisely. But with that being said, I'm going to draw this video to a conclusion. I really enjoy everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by and commenting and liking and watching. I can get a little slow sometime in my tongue because I'm from Oklahoma, but that is what it is. And I do appreciate everybody stopping by. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you don't mind. I hate to say that, but I got to because it is a new channel. Use your time wisely, and you're going to be happy. Love y'all. I'll see you on the next one.